Catus Maximus here. This time another video of some 4-inch mini slip joint pliers. This time this happens to be a classic Diamond Tools out of Duluth, Minnesota. These are definitely pretty neat, and these are, I believe, HLI 4. I like these a lot. Actually, a lot of the old Diamond pliers and tools that I found have actually been pretty nice. They made some pretty decent tools. I had a set of 4-inch channel locks, but I think I lost them, but I'll compare to various others. Anyway, I think these diamonds are pretty nice, even though they have a pretty big nut. I'd rather have a larger nut that holds on a little more securely. These seem to be made pretty well, actually reasonably thick, beamed, or cross-section of the forgings there. I guess the only real takeaway is it wasn't ground super great on the top of the jaw, but can't complain much because they really are pretty nice. Nice angles. One of the things I was really noticing on these, my camera keep, is the fact that this groove, which is known as the tongue, sits in these grooves. That's a difference from these as opposed to, say, slip joint pliers or slip joint style, which are these which have like a D shape or a double D shape, and these are kind of more like regular slip joint pliers where tongue and groove are a little bit stronger. Anyway, really like the tongue. It's actually pretty thick for a set of pliers this size, and we can see it goes way back. You actually have to open these pliers all the way up to be able to adjust it, and what that does is that means that as you start using it, you get, in this lower section, you get good engagement of the tongue into the groove while the plier is in a fairly open position, so it's just really nice and strong. These Protos here, I think are some of the worst ones that you can get, to tell you the truth, just because they have these weird kind of half slot, and the tongue is just super thin on these Protos. It's really kind of surprising how these diamonds, if we compare the tongue thickness and width to, say, these Protos, the Protos are almost a joke. They really are. They're some of the weakest ones. The tongue is super thin, and this tongue isn't broken. If I can get a good lighting here, tongue on Proto isn't broken. It's just really short, really thin. Super disappointed by that. Don't know what Proto was thinking. So if you can find maybe some channel locks which still make them, or like some old diamonds, these things are pretty heavy duty. The only thing to really comment is I think these may be some Weiras. These are German with a hexagonal, logo. These German ones are really thick, really also very heavy duty. The tongue is actually just a short little nub, but it is forged into that jaw. And once again, this tongue engages fully when you still have quite a bit of opening. So this is what like a real heavy duty 4-inch set is. But as you can see, they're just a bit thicker and wider. Already discounted the Protos. Do have a little set of Craftsmans. This kind of design just isn't as strong as tongue and groove. I kind of like these Craftsmans just because they have really long jaws. And they're really narrow, so they kind of offer just a bit more reach. And the fact that if we look at the profile of the lower jaw, get those German ones out of here, it just seems that they're just a little bit more pointed, maybe just a little bit more depth, although they're not great. I still don't think they're as good as the diamonds. And finally, last but not least, we can compare to these, what are these, 1235s. These are some old PNCs, which this company was bought out by Proto like in the 60s. These are super thin. They use a double D design, and this isn't particularly strong. If you put a lot of stress, this can bend out, so the diamonds are certainly heavier duty. But the reason I like these PNCs is, unlike, say, the Protos, which are like really thick heads for a 4-inch set, but just have a really weak design, these PNCs aren't pretending to be that. They are just ultra thin, super narrow jaw. These are some of the narrowest slip joint or smallest slip joint pliers I've ever seen. And that's why I like these so much, even compared to the diamonds. We can see that these PNCs, the head is just super thin on them. And that's what makes these something I would also recommend trying to hunt down, is just because if you want a set of pliers that has absolutely one of the smallest heads out there. It's going to be hard to beat these PNCs. Anyway, enough blabbing. Ran these diamonds after having, you know, several sets of these small 4-inch slip joint pliers and tongue and groove pliers. It just seems that the design and consistency of the various manufacturing of these small pliers varies quite a bit. And so finding kind of the right set that is both a small 4-inch set of pliers as well as being heavy duty has been pretty hard. And once again, discounting the Craftsmans, which really aren't super great, and the Protos, what we have is the PNCs, which are just super tiny. We have these diamonds, once again, which I think are just really pretty well made, pretty sturdy given a 4-inch set of slip joint pliers. And then we have, I believe, these Weiras here, these German-made Weiras, which are just like a real thick, heavy-duty set of 4-inch slip joint pliers. Anyway, I've talked enough. Just wanted to make a little video about these diamonds. I was pretty stoked to have found these, and was quite pleased to find that, as with many other diamond tools, that they actually had a pretty good overall design to them, and they seem to be some pretty well made set of little miniature pliers. Anyway, really appreciate everybody who's been watching. See you next time.